Saudi Arabia has denounced the United States. Senate resolutions to end United States military aid for a Riyadh-led war in Yemen and to blame the country, its crown prince, for the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Saudi Foreign Ministry described the move as interference based on untrue allegations. Thursday's resolutions are largely symbolic and unlikely to become law, but they sent a warning to President Donald Trump about us lawmakers' anger towards Saudi policies. In a statement carried by the official Saudi press agency, the Saudi Foreign Ministry said, the kingdom condemns the latest position of the Senate. It said that such a position was built on untrue allegations and affirms a total rejection of any interference in its internal affairs. The US has so far not publicly responded to the Saudi statement. Thursday's vote was the first time any chamber of US Congress had agreed to pull us forces from a military conflict under the 1973 War Powers Act. Some of President Trump's fellow Republicans defied him to pass the measure with Democrats by subtract 41. The non-binding resolution called upon Mr. Trump to remove all American forces engaging in hostilities in Yemen, except for those combating Islamist extremists. The Senate then unanimously passed a resolution blaming Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi's murder in October, and insisting that the kingdom hold accountable those responsible. The United States chose to cease refueling Saudi warplanes last month, and Thursday's resolution, if it were ultimately passed into law, would prohibit that practice from resuming. President Trump has vowed to veto the measures, and they are unlikely at present to pass the House of Representatives, which on Wednesday blocked a vote on the matter. But independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who co-sponsored the measures, said he expected the resolutions to succeed once Democrats formally take over control of the House in January. Following their midterm elections victory, the Trump administration had argued the bill on Yemen would undercut the support for the Saudi-led coalition against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. White House officials have emphasized as economic ties to the kingdom. Mr. Trump's advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has continued to cultivate ties with the prince. According to the US media, the co-founder of the popular app HQ Trivia, Colin Crowell, has been found dead in his apartment in New York at the age of 35. The CEO, who also co-founded the video platform Vine, was found by police after his girlfriend reportedly asked them to check on him. An HQ spokesperson confirmed the death with deep sadness. HQ Trivia, a live trivia game on mobiles, became hugely popular, although its appeal waned this year. Officers of the New York Police Department went to Mr. Crowell is flagging Manhattan to carry out a welfare check, and found his body, along with drugs paraphernalia nearby. TMZ reported in the initial media coverage of his death. The HQ statement read, "We learned today of the passing of our friend and founder, Colin Crowell, and it is with deep sadness that we say goodbye. Our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time." The company confirmed Mr. Crowell's age after police had initially said 35. Mr. Crowell's father, Alan, told the New York Times he had so much talent and had accomplished so much at such a young age. It truly is a waste. Mr. Crowell co-founded HQ Trivia with Rus Yusupov. Mr. Yusupov paid tribute on Twitter. "So sad to hear about the passing of my friend and co-founder Colin Crowell. My thoughts, prayers go out to his loved ones. I will forever remember him for his kind soul and big heart. He made the world and internet a better place. Rest in peace, brother." End of Twitter post by @RasHQ Trivia was launched, and as last year, and Mr. Crow was named CEO this September. The free app live streams quiz shows, with a pot of money, often thousands of dollars, available to split between winners. The quiz show was best hosted by some big names, from Jimmy Kimmel to Bert from Sesame Street. Its popularity faded this year, dropping out of the App Store. Its list of top 100 apps. Mr. Crow was also a co-founder of Vine, a 6-second video streaming service that was bought out by Twitter in
2012 for $30 M24 米.
Vine announced in December 2016 that Twitter was discontinuing the mobile app. A buyer who illegally demolished a famed house in San Francisco has been ordered to rebuild an exact replica and install a plaque outside explaining what happened. Largent house in the city's Twin Peaks neighborhood was built in 1936 by eminent modernist designer Richard Neutra. Its owner, Ross Johnston, bought the property last year for
$1.7 米,
and had permission to renovate it. That did not include knocking it down. Sheryl Travers, a neighbor, told local TV station KPIX5 that she filed a complaint after coming home to find the house demolished. I went to New York for about a week and a half and came back. The house was gone, totally gone, she said. Mr. Johnston told the San Francisco Planning Commission he had bought the property as a family home that would enable my family of 6 to move back to San Francisco, and had been stuck in limbo for over a year. His lawyer also argued that the historic house had already been altered by former owners. Nonetheless, the commission ruled last week that a replica must be built and not the larger home the owner had planned in its place. If the property is sold, the new buyer will also be obliged to honor the ruling. Ms. Travers called the decision a victory for the neighbors and the little people. Before it was filed, Largent House was a 2-story white building with an indoor swimming pool and one of just 5 homes Neutra designed in San Francisco. SF Curb profiled it in 2010, writing, "We know nothing about Mr. Mrs.
M.S.
Largent, but this was radical stuff in the middle of the Great Depression." Planning Commissioner Dennis Richards said he hoped the story would prove a cautionary tale. If a developer has even a thought of demolishing a house illegally, I'd like them to go up to 49 Hopkins and take a look at the plaque, because this is what is going to happen in the future, he said. A Brazilian faith healer accused of sexually abusing more than 300 women has handed himself into police. Local media report, Joel Teixeira de Faria, known as Son of God, was declared a fugitive on Saturday after missing a deadline to surrender to the authorities. The cascade of claims against him began earlier in December, when a dozen women said the self-styled spiritual healer had abused them at his clinic. Mr. Faria denies the allegations. The medium is based in the central town of Abadiânia, west of the capital Brasília, but has followers worldwide. Brazil's own global newspaper reports that the medium withdrew
35
million reais,
$8 米, 7 米,
from several bank accounts on Wednesday, convincing authorities that he could be planning to flee Brazil or hide the money in case of future compensation claims. Authorities responded with an arrest warrant on Friday. On Sunday, mobile phone footage broadcast on Brazil's global TV showed Mr. Faria looking weary, getting out of a car and surrendering to police on a dirt road in Abadiânia. He was transported to police headquarters in Goiânia, the capital of Goiás state. The medium can be heard on video saying that when he heard the abuse allegations, I surrendered to divine justice, and, as promised, I not place myself in the hands of earthly justice. His lawyer, Alberto Doran, said he would file an appeal on Monday. He said he hoped Mr. Faria might be held under house arrest instead of in prison. Last week, a Dutch photographer, Zahira McMoz, told Globo TV that Mr. Faria had manipulated her into performing sex acts and then raped her. 9 Brazilian women, who remained anonymous, also told the channel that the medium abused them on the premise of transferring his cleansing energy. O Globo newspaper later said it had spoken to 2 more women with similar allegations.
The 76YEAR-OLD's
representative said he vehemently rejects allegations of any improper practice during his treatments. Mr. Faria, who is not a medical doctor, has previously been fined and jailed for operating without a license. As TV host Oprah Winfrey traveled to Brazil in 2013 to meet him.